Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan, for once not alongside Joe Stapleton, with apologies to his babies. I do have two other members of the PokerStars commentary team though, Griffin Benger.
Hello everyone.
And Maria Ho.
Hi.
And guys, we are going back to Monaco. Yes, the 2023 PokerStars EPT presented by Monte Carlo Casino is just around the corner. Griffin, I can see it in your eyes. You're excited.
Love Monte Carlo. It's an amazing stop, and there's always amazing poker.
And Maria, I know this is a big one for you because it's an EPT you actually turn up to.
I mean, how could I miss Monte Carlo? Especially because it's raining in LA right now, so I need to get into that sun, that open deck air playing arena.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the weather forecast. I hope the weather on the Riviera is good in May of this year. So, last year, Joe and I picked out our favorite moments in EPT Monte Carlo history. So we figured we'd give you guys the opportunity to share your personal highlights. Now, we're going to do this in chronological order. So I'm going to start with Maria because you've gone all the way back to 2019.
Yeah, I mean, this was an unforgettable hand. And Manigloser, Ryan Reese, two of the best, and a big call was made here.
Manigloser in the small blind with 6 deuce. Loser just calls. And Ryan Reese checks his option with 10 deuce. Well, Reese is open-ended on the flop. Action goes check, check. Board pairs on the turn.
I won't be surprised to see Lurzer check here again and look to go for a delayed bluff on the river.
Well, Reese
at this point
has a lock on this with 10 high.
It's super interesting if Lurzer bets because you would imagine that pre-flop he shoves pretty much every queen, every king, every ace. So unless he's trapping with a jack, man, honestly, I know this sounds crazy to say, but Ryan Reese with 10 high might be pretty suspicious of this all in. This would be one of the most insane calls we've ever seen on an EPT final table to call with 10 high, but honestly, I don't think it'd be the craziest one. He might be able to work this out that his opponent's never doing this with an ace high, king high, doesn't have them pre-flop. A lot of the time he's going to have these delayed bluffs. Can he make a wild call with the 10 deuce? He is definitely thinking about it. It looks like he might only have one more time bank left.
Have you ever found yourself in an MTT, Finton, where you've called all in with 10 high and been right?
Definitely not on a final table, not even close. This would be one of the sickest calls ever. But it just doesn't make sense from the 6 deuce. Oh, what a call!
He calls all in with 10 high and will get the double up.
What a call!
Well, from one final table to another, I just criticized Maria for having a short memory, Griffin. You've picked a hand from last year.
Well, I just want to say I was looking through a lot of different Monte Carlo broadcasts to find my favorite one, and frankly, that one really stood out. I don't know what was so special about it. Maybe it was because I was already covering it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was.
Okay, so it's to introduce the hand that you do commentary on then.
Yeah, it's it's an incredible final table, really early final table strategy. ICM pressure has a lot to do with playing your range when you have the stronger range, and I think it's I don't want to spoil it, so we'll get to it.
9-8 of diamonds for Hugo Pingray.
Oh yeah, Hugo calling moments ago with Jack 8 suited on the button. Looks like he likes
I love
suited
9-8
connectors.
Suited. Here, tell you what, Grafton can be the 10-9 suited. I want Grifton to be the 9-8 suited.
The Grifton. I'll allow it. The raise is to 180,000. Morton Vam has 9-7 suited in the small blind.
I like these hands because they remind me of 1997 and 1998. It was a simpler time.
Yeah, those were good years.
Vam calls in the small. Cervantes ace-10 offsuit in the big. He calls as well. That means we are going 3-way to the flop. And that flop is ace, king, 6. 2 hearts. Cervantes near enough a 9-1 favorite in this 3-way pot.
We'll be curious to see if Ping Ray decides to use that range advantage and rep on this board. You know, you have a little backdoor potential. 9-8 of diamonds.
It takes optimism to raise 9-8 of diamonds, and if you're that sort of optimist, you've got a flush draw and a straight draw right now.
Yeah, but what's really great about this particular clash between Cervantes and Ping Ray is that I think Cervantes is probably one of the more aware and prepared to call down barrels of players on this table, and we learned that yesterday with the ace-queen high call to start the final.
Not just that hand.
Table, and not just that hand. So this is a very interesting clash because it's someone who I think is prepared to bluff in Ping Ray, and Cervantes who's prepared to call. So it's one of those Wild West situations.
Well, we get the 8 of clubs on the turn, a bit of equity for Ping Ray, but still a 9-1 advantage for Cervantes. Suffice to say, Morten Vam folded on the flop to the c-bet from Ping Ray.
Now, question, a lot of times when a player picks up a pair on the turn, it slows them down, their showdown value. But I feel like in this case, is this enough showdown value?
Well, not really, because the kind of hands that Cervantes is going to call is ace rag, which is you're losing against. King X a lot of the time too, but then some flush draws that might just fold on the turn. So maybe you just want to be betting really big.
He is going really big, Griffin. This is 800,000 into $1 million.
Who is going to blink first in this spot?
Well, they say don't try to bluff a rich guy. But what about a rich guy bluffing? Is it the same in reverse? I would not be feeling great about ace-10. I'd be thinking about domination situation a lot here.
Well, Cervantes has just thrown in a time bank card, wants more time to consider his decision.
And it's not like I went in today thinking Ping Ray is opening hands like this constantly from early position.
Well, Cervantes makes the call, and we are going heads up to the river with 2.6 million in the pot. The river card is the ace of hearts. Barry Greenstein makes an appearance, giving Cervantes trips.
And has less than pot behind.
The thing is that's interesting about this spot for Ping Ray, if this is how DP wants to go down the rabbit hole of thinking about this hand, which very well playing for this kind of money, Cervantes shouldn't really have any boats and any flushes. That's the reality. Often going to be capped at an ace here. Not a ton of heart combos that would keep calling here on the turn for 800K when you only have 2.6 million. So a lot of the time, you're going to have a hand like ace-10, ace-9. So if Ping Ray wants to get real bold and...
He's called for the triangle. He's shoved on Cervantes.
Okay, so your point that you're making there is because he's not going to have a lot of boats and flushes that
he might be able to fold out an ace.
Yeah.
Because the kind of hands that would barrel here, Ping Ray could certainly have, Queen Jack of Hearts. Some of the heart combos are knocked out because of that 10 of hearts that Cervantes is holding. Pocket kings are a hand here, pocket sixes, pocket eights. A lot of different, you just have to put your opponent on a stone bluff. He's not value betting a worse hand here. So you're only beating pure bluffs. So I know, you're at home, you're looking at this, you're like, what are you talking about? You have trip aces, just call. Well, think about the situation. You have to assume that your opponent playing for €1 million is just bluffing all in with nothing here. Boom, 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 3 streets.
Good players are going to fold an ace here sometimes.
I think so, yeah.
It is all in to call, and Cervantes has played 2 time bank cards already.
You are only beating bluffs here.
I mean, we've seen him catch many bluffs, but none in this dire of a circumstance. It's never been for his tournament life. It's only been for...
I mean, this is such an incredible turning point. It's going to be the call that propels Cervantes probably to a top 3 finish. And, a bluff goes through that Ping Ray is just going to be vaulted up the chip stack.
King, sixes, or ace-king? sick bluff, but
That was a
Yeah,
fold.
It does fold.
Lays it down. The bluff gets through. Well, I tell you what, seeing both those hands has definitely got me excited for this year's Monte Carlo live stream. So let's get into the details, guys. We have got 7 consecutive days of live coverage coming at you on the PokerStars YouTube channel from the PokerStars EPT presented by Monte Carlo Casino, and it all starts on Sunday, April 30th. We'll be live at 1 p.m. local time, that's Central European Summer Time, and we're kicking things off with what I like to see as an amuse-bouche. It's the final table of the local tour event, the FPS main event, the France Poker Series, before we get into EPT proper. And whilst we weren't able to do the Super High Roller in the Bahamas or Paris for boring logistical reasons I'm not going to get into, we do have the Super High Roller here in Monte Carlo. And Griffin, we're going to see who follows in the footsteps of last year's Super High Roller champ, Adrian Mateos. Can I say I am slightly shocked you didn't pick a Mateos hand, because you are a Mateos fanboy.
Yeah, and there was a deep temptation too, because he has, one of the most famous bluffs on EPT Monte-Carlo.
True.
So it was tough not to pick that one, but everyone's seen that hand. Anyone who goes on YouTube and watches clips of old EPTs knows that hand. So I decided to go against my better judgment and just decided to, I'll get back to you. Don't worry, Mateos.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So we kick things off with back-to-back final tables, and then, Maria, we're into 5 consecutive days of main event coverage, 5K EPT main event coverage. So that's starting on the 2nd of May all the way through and up to and including Saturday the 6th of May. The question is, how much of that coverage do you think you'll be a part of? Because this is an EPT you will be playing.
Yeah, I have made a fairly deep run at EPT Monte Carlo before, but in the recent history of me coming out to events, I haven't made it very far. So we'll see.
Well, we will indeed. So that is from the 30th of April through to the 6th of May, inclusive, 7 days of live coverage. My thanks to Griffin and Maria. My thanks to you guys at home. Please don't forget to give the video a like. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification icon. That way you'll know when our streams from Monte Carlo begin. See you then.